Tonight, Vice President John Mahama was also at the scene of the crash. He expressed his sympathies to the families of the victims and asked all to remain calm while the accident was thoroughly investigated.
At about 7:15 last night, Ghana was thrown into a state of shock as an Allied air cargo freighter arriving at the Kotoka International Airport overshot runway 21 while landing and grounded to a halt at the Hajj Village near the El-Wak Stadium. According to civil aviation officials, the Boeing 727-200 freighter, in its attempt to land, overran the runway, touching halfway down. In the process, it tore through the airport perimeter fence and crashed a Mercedes-Benz 207 bus, killing all 10 passengers on board. GTV News spoke to an eyewitness, Jackson Chumesi.
From the air vibrating, I say plane on Alande. Wow, Alande is not taking off. I say Alande, but it's like you can feel the ground vibrating. It's who say from the vibrating. Which means plane on Alande and far distance. It landed somewhere in the middle. The plane was coming towards my direction, so you can feel the ground vibrating. So I decided, I said, the way the ground is vibrating and the way the light is heading towards me, there's no possibility whereby I have to stand here, so I have to change my direction. It's me movie and I'm who say plane need the speed. Then no. Not traffic being so air bassy. First of all, time I not traffic will handle. But it's like when the incidents were about to happen, it's like traffic nina air coy. And trotto na air bassy no, and a plane no, air fan coy.
The national coordinator of NADMO, Mr. Kofi Potofi, said the scene of the crash has been cordoned off and the security services are putting measures in place to contain the situation.
The important thing is for the nation to rest assured that there has been an excellent response by all the emergency agencies, and nerves must calm down. We are in control of the situation, and there's no cause for alarm.
Some government officials, together with Vice President John Mahama, were at the scene last night. Mr. Mahama assured Ghanaians that thorough investigations would be conducted to ascertain the cause of the crash.
Kotoka is a safe airport. We haven't had this kind of accident in many decades, and so I don't think it's anything to cause panic. I hear that aircrafts are coming and going, you know, at this thing. I want to, on behalf of the President, express the government's condolences to the bereaved, those who have lost their lives and their families. Government will try and do everything possible to try and ameliorate, you know, the disaster that has befallen them.
Briefing the media, the managing director of the Ghana Airport Company Limited, Madam Doreen Osufianko, said the security services have inspected the aircraft to ensure that there are no explosive goods on board.
Meanwhile, operations at the airport are normal and all flights are operating on schedule. Emergency teams, including the Ghana National Fire Service, Ghana Armed Forces, NADBO, Ghana Police, National Security, Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, and the Airport Clinic and Ghana Airports Company are currently at the accident site.
Meanwhile, the 4 injured crew members and the bodies of the 10 dead passengers have been conveyed to the 37 Military Hospital.
It's been about 24 hours since the Allied air cargo plane crash, and understandably, bereaved families of those killed on the 207 bus on the El-Wak route are yet to come to terms with the tragic loss of their beloved ones. 8 of the victims have already been identified. Now, GTV News located the family of the driver of the ill-fated bus, George Osei. His father, Kenneth Siama, and an aunt, Kate Owusu-Ababiu, share their grief.
The news team's first port of call was the Garrison Church of Pentecost at Bema Camp, where the owner of the 207 Benz bus, Emmanuel Ashia, worships. Mr. Ashia was not immediately available for comment because he was said to be at the 37 Military Hospital to check on the body of his driver, who had been deposited at the morgue there. But according to the church members, though Osei, as he was popularly called, did not worship with them, he was always ready to convey them to any destination whenever they had any program outside the church. Though the service was supposed to be dedicated to the Lord's Supper, the incident left the members in a reflective mood. An elder of the church who witnessed the crash narrated what he saw to the congregation. They also prayed for victims of the crash, their relatives and the nation to avert future tragedies. 33-year-old George Osei had been driving for 10 years. They say in the course of his driving profession, he has never been involved in an accident. His route was usually between 37 and Spintex Road. He was therefore on his way from the Spintex Road to convey passengers to the 37 station when the unfortunate incident occurred. According to Osei's younger brother Kay, who is a soldier, he had just returned from Lebanon on peacekeeping mission and asked Osei to suspend his job that fateful Saturday and accompany him to the Kwame Nkrumah Circle to buy a phone. According to him, Osei declined, saying he wanted to make more sales since it was a weekend. Osei's family members were still in a state of shock when GTV visited.
I was in the house when my younger son called to inform me that Osei was involved in the plane crash, so I informed my family members and we went to the 37 military morgue to identify his body.
Osei was a quiet and peaceful person and very passionate about his work. We were shocked when we heard the news, but there was nothing any of us could have done about it.
At the family house, members of the GPRTU 37 branch, where Osei was a member, had just come to express their condolences. The news team also spoke to the GPRTU chairman of the 37 lorry station, Kweku Frimpong, about the loss of their member to last night's tragedy.
Osei joined us about 10 years ago. About 7 p.m. last night, we were informed about the plane crash at the El-Wak Stadium and that Osei and his mate had lost their lives. So we went to the morgue this morning to confirm what we heard.
Meanwhile, GTV gathered that Osei's regular driver's mate, 24-year-old Kwame Boadu, had traveled to his hometown in Koko, so Osei on that fateful day worked with a replacement whose name was not immediately known. Fanny Nana Ampon, GTV News, Accra.